music lovers, we're thrilled to announce WVTC Radio Network has made it to round 2 of the Stella Awards. Thank you for your support, but we're not done yet. Round 2 voting is now open. We need your help to win 2024 Stella Award for Internet Radio Station of the Year. Please visit www.thestellaaward.com. Look for the radio station ballot. Navigate to Category 4, Internet Station of the Year, and cast your vote for WVTC Radio Network Ramon Perry. Remember, each household can vote twice, so make your voice heard before April 30th. Let's spread the gospel and bring home the Stella Award for WVTC Radio Network. We thank you for your support, and may God richly bless you.
I want to be there and baby dance the night away. I let my hair down and fly one. Don't you just get tired chasing fame and being...
Hi, thank you guys for tuning into WVTC Network. I am your host, Cynthia. The name of my show is called Real Man, Real Talk. And I get a lot of backlash from a lot of women and be like, why y'all never bring women on? Because I am a woman. I know how we think. So my thing is to change the narrative. I want to have men come on and hear the different different perspectives or the different conversation or different thoughts of you guys in regards to stuff out of the norm. So I appreciate you, Matt and Antoine, for taking time out y'all busy day to come on and be a blessing to our show. As you guys seen, we are a 2-time Stella Award winning network. Can't a lot of stations say that. So this is nothing but a blessing from God. And also we've been nominated for a 3rd Stella. So I'm so excited. And I've been sending text messages and emails asking for votes. And I'm excited. Either way, we're going to go down there to the Stella and represent like we did. So I'm just overjoyed with the opportunity. And also WVTC Radio allowed me to be the publicist for the station. So I'm just in a good space, and I just thank God for all his many blessings. So with that being said, Antoine, can you give us a little bit about who you are and what you got going on?
How y'all doing? My name is Antoine Ware. I work at a rehabilitation center. I'm a director there. That's all I got going on. I'm 39. That's all I got right now.
So Antoine, what caught my attention? I am a big advocate for youth. I work with youth on a large scale, young men and young girls. However, I decided to go strictly with males only because I'm a boy mom and I understand. I ain't gonna say understand, but my focus just needs to be there because every day he come home, it's something different or something, I need to know or something that I'm trying to teach him. And so that's why I devote my time and energy towards males. I got this thing about how people say you got to create a village, right? It takes a village, right? Everybody say, oh, it takes a village. And so my flip to that is that I go out and create my own village because everybody in your village ain't got your best interest, right? And so therefore I go out and I solicit men like you guys and see what you got going on to add to what I'm doing. So when I talk to a young man, I can say, well, guess what? I talk to a man that's doing this. I talk to a man that's doing this. Or I could pull up y'all video in regards to something y'all say that could help them or questions that they ask. And so again, I appreciate y'all. Mr. Howery, tell us a little bit about you, sir.
Matt Howery. I'm a husband. I'm a father. Just an all-around family man. Right now, I'm working for a non-for-profit in the North Lawndale community. We focus on economic development. Also, I'm a baseball coach out here in Richmond Park, Illinois, where I reside. And yeah, that's all I pretty much got going on right now. But I just want to say, my main focus just being a family, just, being there for my family, my kids and my wife.
Awesome. And so, and see, that's the connection. You guys deal with youth in some type of capacity. And so, Antoine, I was reading where you had a young man come in for an interview and he wasn't up to par. And so instead of you telling him, go ahead on, this ain't for you, you extended the olive branch, and that was a teachable moment from you. And in return, he came back up to standard. Correct? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I do hiring at my job. I was once a young man looking for a job, so I believe in, helping out. So when I came up and saw him sitting there, he had a hoodie on with the hood on, and he stood up, pants sagging. So first thing in my mind, I'm like, nope. But then I said, you know what? Wait, let me just go pick his brain a little bit. So I took him in, while I interview at, asked him a few questions, and then I just stopped in the interview. And then that's when I get to question him, like, do you know what to wear to a job interview? Do you know what not to do in a job interview? What to say, what not to say? And when he told me no, he didn't. It was his first one.
Wow.
So then I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna give him a chance. That's when I asked him, do he own any like casual business or tire? He told me no. So what I normally do, I normally put like a $20 bill, $50 bill, $100 bill in my wallet, just for, just in case, a rainy day.
Wow.
And I went in there. This time I had a $50 bill. We went to my office. I went to look online. I like to shop at JCPenney. Went online, looked for some stuff. I ordered it. I told him to go pick it up, and I told him I'll see him tomorrow. I'll give him another chance. And that's how that went.
He came in with what you had.
Came in and came the next day and came like 15 minutes early.
Wow. Could y'all be so kind and share the live for me? Share this live. Wow. And so but so Matt, what age group do you coach?
So just a little history on that, so I don't have any sons, right? I got a nephew who's 20 years old. So I just volunteered. And so I didn't want to go too young. So I wanted to deal with the 13 and 12 and 14-year-olds. I thought that was a good age to start it. I remember playing youth baseball and how, man, the inspiration I got from, even though I had my father in my life, the coaches was just big in my life. So I wanted to give back in that way to that age group.
I love it. So I want to ask you guys, Antoine, I'm going to start with you. Do you think societal expectations of men have changed?
You said society?
Correct.
Expectation of men?
Yes, sir.
It has. Well, one thing society has, like, is it's a lot of men that's not in the household. So, by not a man not being in the household, I don't want to sound like a sexist, but it makes a woman have to be a head of household, and I feel that's not how it should be. Of course, with the black man, they just think bad of us no matter what, and yeah, that's all I can think of.
I agree. Matt, what's your take on that?
Can you re-ask that question? I'm sorry, I was trying to share that live. I
appreciate you, sir. How do you
old on here that you're trying to share it? Like, I don't know how to do this, but I got it
now. The question was, do you think societal expectations for men have changed?
Yes. From I think from when I was young, the expectations was kind of like, we're gonna, you get a job, you take care of your family. I think the reason it has changed though is the fact that women are more successful now, right? And women are doing a lot of things, so that makes the expectations for men to rise up. I think a generation before, maybe like the 70s and 80s, kind of let us down a little bit. I think the mistreatment of women in that time made, especially black women, say, you know what, we're gonna rise up. We're gonna start being more independent, right? And now, so for men, you have to step your game up. These young men have to step their game up, man. I think, nowadays, especially younger girls, they're not looking for just to date no gal off the street, right? I think it was a generation where that little street cred stuff, it was big then, right? It was a big thing. You sagging your pants. Girls liked that back in, the late 90s, early 2000s. But now, these young girls are looking for young men who got their stuff together, who's headed somewhere, who's headed into college. So I think the expectation, and that should make more young men want to do better.
Thank you for that. And that's one, just to piggyback on something you said. I'm so happy you said that, because you said that women are pretty much forced at this point due to circumstances to be head of household. And so I have to debate with so many people in regards to, it ain't that women want to be the house of the whole, it's the cards we're dealt. And so when you're dealt cards, you just have to play them as they come. And then Matt, to your point, we're in a generation now where we just went through a pandemic and everybody pretty much created business. There's so many entrepreneurs now, and so more people now on top of their stuff. So now it's to a point to where we don't have to settle for less. You know what I'm saying? Now right. Everybody's expanding their horizon, doing stuff, and so it only makes sense. Iron sharpens iron. So you want somebody that's your equal, or somebody that's going in the paint, as they say, just as you would. So thank y'all for that. Because I'll be like, people have to deal the cards they've been dealt. So Matt, go back to you. So what challenges have you faced being a Black man in America?
Oh shoot. I mean, it's kind of like, where do you start? I think just being profiled, right? Being profiled. I think, the system is kind of damaged, where if you make a mistake at a young age, all of a sudden you got this felony on your background, and all of a sudden you can't get a job, and you're a changed person, but you got this felony you got from 20 years ago. I think that's a system that was designed for, Black men. I think just being a Black man, we are now, honestly, just to be honest, I know Black women say they're still the low end of the totem pole. I believe Black men are the low of the totem pole in the eyes of the public.
I agree with you.
It's crazy. I took a training last week in New Orleans, and we talked about racism in America and systemic racism, right? And it all pointed back almost to the Black man, in the sense of, not only is it white people that look at Black men a certain way, you also have Latino, you also have Asians, and I was in a room with a bunch of Latinos, and it's crazy how they talked about their family. I always told them, don't hang around Black men. And one of the Latinos in there shared a story that her first time ever been around a Black man was in high school, and she was afraid just because she was sitting next to him. So I think, and also one more thing, I think that, even we have to hold ourselves to a standard where it's like you almost got to be perfect when you in corporate America, right? You can't be that Black man that's, that's too aggressive. I'm only 5'7", but looking for somebody like Antoine, I'm pretty sure he has to watch, his tone, because he's a bigger guy. And I think that's not fair. And Black men only get that stigma, right?
Thank you. Antoine?
He just said what I was gonna say. By me, I'm 6'5", 300-pound man, and then they just assume that I'm aggressive, crazy. But like you said, like it's hard to be a Black man. Like, being a Black man in America is really, 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 really hard. Like you say, they stereotype you. You do something, like you say, you do something in the past 20 years ago, and it stays and it sticks with you. Even when you go on job interviews, and you got to put down that you did something back 20-some years ago. I had a guy working for me. I'm not going to disclose his name. I had a guy working for me. He did something back in the 80s. And he was working about 6-7 months. And we had to release him, and I was so hurt.
Wow.
We getting like a 2-week notice, and he was so hurt. One of my best workers.
I thought they had like a 10-year statute.
That's what I thought. So, I say, it's hard being a Black man in this country. Like I say, did something back in the 80s, and we in 2024, and it came back to haunt him.
That's terrible. So, like you said, there's no healing process. Because, like you said, whatever he did this 2024, I'm sure he didn't, wronged his rights.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's tough. But yeah, I mean, I see it, and it's crazy you guys say this, because I was getting stopped by the cops left and right? And it's only because I had one of those plastic license plates on my on my rear plate. You guys know what I'm talking about. And so every time I get stopped by the cop, my son was in the car with me, and I would look over and he'd have his hands stretched out on the dashboard. And that's nothing I told him. And so when I first seen it, I was almost in tears because I'm like, so now at this point, I'm thinking about him. I'm letting all the windows down. The police come to the car. I'm like, hey, officer, how you doing? She's like, yeah, you can't. And so we're talking, and I'm like, my son is nervous. This ain't normal for us. And so after the third time, he's like, Mom, I'm just doing it. He's like, I be seeing on TV and I don't want no problem. I don't want them to think I'm touching her. And that's crazy that we have to live in a society like that. Like you said, being a black man, because I'm sure, if it was any other race, it would, I'm sure their kids don't act like that. But yeah, so that bothered me tremendously. But at the same time, I'm happy that my son made himself aware of what's going on in society in regards to, police stops. And then the other thing about it is that we partner with police. So we know a bunch of them, you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, that just did something to me. So yeah, yeah, that's pretty tough. Antoine, what does being a good friend look like to you? What are the characteristics of a good friend?
Characteristics of a good friend. There when you need them. Can call them anytime. You can talk to them. Chastise you. I got a male best friend and a female best friend, and they right me when I'm right, and they wrong me. They get on my butt when I'm wrong, vice versa. So yeah, stable. Somebody got your back. So yeah, that's the definition of a best friend. Somebody who's like I say, go get on your butt when you ain't right. They're gonna get on your tail when you wrong. And like when you wrong, not to say like right doing that instant, but later on, like, hey, you was wrong for doing that. But I gotta show right then and there I'm your friend, so I gotta have your back. But chastise me in the background later on. So that's how I think a friend is.
I'm glad you said that, because in regards to the unisex, male and female, because there's the stigma that a female cannot be a male's friend without intimacy and all the other stuff. What do you think about
that? So my best friend I'm talking about, we'll be 40 this year. We've been friends since kindergarten.
Y'all never dated?
Never dated, none of that. And throughout her relationships in the past, mine, we be getting people that say, y'all done did something or blah, blah, blah. Yes. And we haven't. Wow. They just jealous because we have we tight. We real tight.
So could that possibly interfere with your relationship?
It has in the past.
Okay.
But I let them know up front about her. Her name is Alicia Murph. Shout out. I let her know. I let the woman who I'm dating know. And I basically let them know. Take it or leave it.
That's some grown man stuff. I promise you, because I have friends get into relationships and they be like, I can't answer the phone or I can't do this. And I respect it and I get it. You know what I'm saying? But I'll be like, so I was dating a guy and he wanted to strip me from all my male friends and I allowed it to happen. But then the second go round, when I started another relationship, I vowed to not let him interfere. Stray me away from my male friends. Because guess what? After our relationship was over with, those friends still remain. And so, like you just made mention, everything ain't what it appear to be. Either you're gonna trust or you're not. You know what I'm saying? Because we all got friends. Let's be honest. Everybody have friends, whether you married, in a relationship, engaged, whatever. There's people before this individual. Yeah. So I'm glad you said that.
It's just a matter of not crossing. Like, exactly. I respect the relationships and vice versa. She respect mine. So that's all it is.
Mr. Howery, what's your take on that?
I'll start with the friends piece first. Like, everything he said pretty much is, on point, man. A friend is somebody who holds you accountable, and kind of just there for you, and y'all there for each other. And to the opposite sex friend, and this is just me, But I have, I have maybe like 4 or 5 female friends that I never did nothing with.
And you're married, right?
One of my best friends, right? And
Wait, Matt, you're married, correct?
Right, and I'm married, yes. Yeah, and my wife has male friends
of course,
also, right? So one thing about having a female friend, I learned, it seems like having a female friend and a male friend is different. But I tell you what, man, a female friend, I feel like if you're a guy, you need to get you one, man, because your female friend gonna hold you down, and they gonna be the ones that's really gonna hold you accountable. That's why I like my female friends. You know what I mean? Having issues in relationships, they gonna tell you the truth. They gonna tell you so much. And, a lot of times your guy friends be like, man, just come out and kick it, forget it. Excuse my language. Forget all that. You know what I mean? Where your female friends like, hold on, you need to settle down. You need to apologize. Because you was in the wrong. So I cherish doing relationships a lot. I will say once I got married, a lot of them relationships, they had to change a little bit, right? Because now it's boundaries there as far as like you can't just call me at 2:00 in the morning because this guy treating you wrong, right? I'm with my wife, right? But you know what I mean? So the communication changed, but the bond and the friendship is always gonna be there. And so, I really value, having the opposite sex friendships.
Thank you for saying that, because that's what I am to my male friends. They get into, they have a dispute with their girlfriend, or they see somebody, or somebody say they're cute or whatever, and now they ready to take the number. I'm like, dude, how you going? You just told me that you in a situation, you like this girl. I'm like, that ain't okay. You get her number, then what? You can't go nowhere. You can't spend no time with her. So what you doing? So I promise you, I'm that to all my friends. I'm encouraging them. What's going on with y'all got? I'm all that. And so thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. Because that's who I am. I promise you. All my male friends, it's positive energy, it's reinforcement. It's okay, what you got going on? What you doing? So thank you for saying that. Antoine, how do you handle stress in today's society? Like what do you do to handle stress?
Man,
because wait, before you say that, because we live in this world now where men can't show emotion, or men can't say that they this or they going through. However, we understand that pressure busts pipes, so there has to be an outlet. And men, you guys don't talk about it or make mention of it. So,
well, to piggyback on what we talked about earlier, being a black man itself is stressful. The way I handle stress, well, one, I pray. Pray to God. God don't put more on us that we can bear.
Right. Yeah.
So, like I said, the first thing I pray. I pray. I do a lot of walking.
Okay.
Most people don't know. Like when I'm at work, I go outside and just walk around my building where I work at for like 10 minutes, and I'm praying. Another way to talk about it. Talk about it to somebody. Like I say, that's what best friends come in at. And that's how I deal with it. Like more so just pray about things. And I can handle a lot of stuff, but sometimes it gets real stressful. So I just say prayer. So
you said prayer, walking, and voicing or an outlet with one of your.
And I played sports, so that was another way of releasing some stress. I was very aggressive when I played sports. That's why my nickname is the Beast.
Matt, what you got for us?
Yeah. So I would say maybe like 2 years ago, I started handling stress different. I thought I was handling it the right way, when at first I was just burying problems, right? I get stressed and I'll say, man, I need to get something to drink, and liquor, and just burying my problems in that. Where now, to Beast's point, it is talking it out, calling somebody and talking to them, talking to my wife, and I found that so helpful. And realizing, like, I try to remind myself every day now, like, don't stress about things you can't control. Mm-hmm. Like, literally, like, I remind myself that every day when things seem to get a little hard, right? Because every day is always something something's going to happen, right? In life that's going to probably stress you out. But I try to be mindful of what's bothering me at the moment and trying to address it right away. And that's something I took heed of this year. and it's probably been one of the best things I've ever done in my life. Exercising more, also praying, So I think that's how you deal with stress. You deal on it head on. Don't bury it. Think it's gonna go away. And just dealing with it with that issue right in and there.
I love it.
I, I just want to go in and say a little bit on that. So the most stressful time of my life was March 25th, 2021. I lost my mother.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
And so, like I say, to deal with that, like that was the most stressful time ever in my life. And that's why I say I pray way like what Matt just said. We can't control. There's some things that we can't control. Unfortunately, death is a part of life. And like I say, I've dealt with that for the last 3.5 years, and whew, prayer works, man. Like it don't get better. You know, when you lose a loved one, it gets easier for you. A little bit more bearable, I should say. Because I have my moments when I'm alone. I still cry. Like you can see here, I did this in the background on purpose. There's a picture of me and my mother right there. So like I say, I've been these last 3 years, I prayed a lot more probably than my life than I ever have. So prayer is really a good thing.
Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you. Wow. Matt, what is one thing you wish you had learned in high school?
Man, shoot. It's real simple for me, and it's something that I wish I see this generation picking up a little more on. They don't really teach it. It's kind of like financial literacy, right? Mm-hmm. How, how to understand my finances better in high school, where I could be more prepared, understand what these student loans mean to me, or me taking out public aid and getting that check and spending that check, or getting, understanding what it was like getting a credit card for the first time and just not blowing all the money. Not realize I'll be in debt later. Just understanding little things as far as financial literacy in our community, I think is a big deal. And for me in high school, I didn't know any of that. You know what I mean? You give me $5, I was spending it. You give me $10, I was spending it. You know what I mean? You give me $500, I'm spending it. And I'm spending it on stuff that, I don't have right now, right? You know what I mean? Like shoes and clothes. So financial literacy, which I think is getting better in our community of teaching that. But that's which I would have learned in high school.
Wow. Antoine, what you got?
The same thing.
Yeah.
My parents used to always tell me, my mother and my father tell me, your credit takes you a long way. My mother used to always tell me, you get that first credit card, Blackie, don't go crazy and blah, blah, blah. And just like Matt said, you gave me a $5, $10, $20, I was spending it on stuff like you said that I don't have now. So if I was, aware of that at an early age, I would be much well off than I am now.
Wow. I agree. I'd say the same thing, financial literacy. That's pretty interesting. Let's see. Matt, if you can, okay, so I always ask this question because, again, like I said, I have a boy child, right? And so I ain't gonna say never. I don't recall ever seeing a superhero. I'm sorry, a Marvel, because I'm not into Marvel hero. But my son, he has brothers, and so when he wanted to go see it, when he was of age, I would send them, and it was okay. So Black Panther came out, and my son was like, "Mom, it's the only Black Marvel, you got to go see it." And I was like, "Okay, son," and I still haven't seen it. We always go back and forth, right? So I always ask this question just so I can get a little insight, because one of these days I just don't like it. One of these days I'm gonna watch it. So, Matt, if you can be any superhero, who would it be?
Any superhero?
While you thinking about that, I did go with him to see one, and it was good. I don't remember who it was, but it was good. Whoever it was, I gotta remember.
I don't know if this is necessarily a superhero, but who the person I would want to be. It's probably funny. It's probably a little funny, but I want to be Caesar off Planet of the Apes. I ain't gonna even lie. I'll be Caesar, because Caesar, he led a tribe, right? He taught everybody how to speak the language. He was a leader, right? And he led all the apes, into fighting for themselves when they was enslaved and they felt they fell down. They was at the bottom. And it's like, hold on, these people not gonna cage us up. They not gonna treat us like this. And Caesar was the leader. So if that's kind of like my hero, to be honest with you.
There you go. That's yours. You can own it. Mr. Ware, what you got for us?
I actually got like a mixture of two.
Okay.
No, this is funny.
Educate me.
It'll be Hancock. Hancock, Will Smith.
Okay.
He was a superhero, but he did what he wanted to do. And the other would be Meteor Man. I just actually watched that earlier this morning. And Meteor Man, because he was able to protect his neighborhood.
Okay. So wait, the first guy, what was his powers?
Hancock. He was able to save, like, I don't know if you remember the beginning of the movie. He was he was drunk sitting on the bench, on the bus stop bench. Little boy woke him up. It was some robbers in the beginning, robbing the bank or doing some robbery stuff, and he stopped the robbery. He tore the city up.
Okay.
I think it cost the city like $5-10 million to clean up. But then Meteor Man, you know, he was saving his neighborhood from drug lords, his community. He brought like 2 gangs together as one. They helped like build a community, like I think they built like a garden or something to where people can get vegetables and stuff like that. So it'd be a mixture of those two. And who wouldn't want to fly? And both of them would fly.
Okay. There you go. So I'm gonna take a break right here and play this video. So as you guys heard me mention earlier, when I sent the email, I have an organization called Heavily Sent Youth, and I expose kids to different things outside of their neighborhoods. And the driving force is, like I told you guys, I have a boy child. And so growing up on the west side and the south side, the go-to was either basketball or football for the most part, right? And so we do understand that all kids possess the necessary skills to excel in those sports, but a lot of times parents, they try to live through their kids, right? And they force these kids to play sports they pay for. Yep. And so when I got into a car accident, and during the time I was playing basketball and doing sports with the kids. And so when I was doing therapy, of course, I couldn't play basketball. And so I would still go and I would sit. And I was amazed at all the kids that didn't take part in these sports. And I'm like, man, that's crazy. You know, I'm thinking that like everybody else. Nevertheless, so we expose kids. When I say different outside neighborhoods, we expose kids to. I bought a horse during the pandemic. So we've been teaching kids about horses, A to Z, gardening, what else? Canoeing, archery, bowling, what else? For instance, cursive writing. You know, they took cursive writing out of schools. The kids now do cursive writing. CPR, so important. We learned the importance of CPR when DeMar, what's the football player, when he collapsed on the field. And so that opened a whole box in regards to CPR. So all our kids CPR certified, and everything in between. Anything a kid think they want to do, anything a kid think they want to do, we provided a resource for them. And so I'm happy that, you know, the Lord put me in position to be able to expose these kids all these different stuff. Like I said, we partner with CPD, so CPD be on some of our outings. We do bowling, and so I understand that it's hard for a kid to dream what they can't see, right? So if a kid is just stuck in these 4 walls, that's all they see. So they become a product of their environment. And so no, we take them outside and expose them to all these different things. And so this is a video that we did on the barn. So here we go.
My name is Cynthia Manuel. I was born in Chicago, and I am proud to be able to raise my son in Chicago. I work with inner city youth to show them different things outside of their neighborhoods. When these kids walk onto the farm, it makes them feel like they are free. I want these kids to know how to give back, and recycling is one of those ways.
So Facebook picked me. I had somebody from Facebook was like, hey, I see all these wonderful things you're doing with the kids. We would love to have you on in this competition, where I had to give my speech, talk about what I do. And so I won. They sent this cool equipment, these cameras and all these computers to my house. They paid my son to be my director. And it was just cool. We took the stuff to the barn, and they paid for the kids to go to the barn. It was just an experience I'll never forget. So yeah, that's just a small section of what I do in my busy lifestyle. So again, I want to thank you guys for coming on. A couple more questions. So I did hear you guys, both of you guys make mention of God. So it's safe to say that you guys believe in God, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Because I always want to ask, I don't want to assume anything. And so with that being said, Antoine, if you can give me your favorite Bible scripture or parable in the Bible.
Um, it's one that Philippians. Ooh, Auntie Joe will kill me. Philippians, I think it's 44:14. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me.
I love it. Okay. Matt,
It was embodied in me here.
I like that. That's one of my favorite ones too. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. It said through Christ, not man.
So I don't actually know any scriptures by heart. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
No, that's okay. That's why I said either scripture or Bible parable. Everybody knows parables in the Bible.
I can't think of one right now. But I am a believer. I just can't think of one.
Okay, we'll come back to you with that. Antoine, can you tell me the best advice your mother and or father has given you?
The best advice my mother has given me is she would always tell, it's 6 of us. I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters. 6 of us. I'm second of 6. And she would always just tell us she wants to do better than she did. And I think all 6 of us are doing quite well.
Awesome.
You know, that was her advice. My father, that's my guy. My father I've been playing basketball since like the 5th grade, 4th or 5th grade. And he will always show up and support. And he would always just tell me do my best in anything, not just sports, anything in life, just do your best that you can and live with the results.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Matt, what you got for us?
I'm starting with my mother. Yeah, my mother used to always tell me and my brothers that you can do anything, right? I think, you know, my older brother really took that real serious, right? I think I didn't take it as serious as I should have. But she's always tell us you can do anything. Whatever you put your mind to, you can do it. So just, you know, I mean, just keep working at it. If you fall, just keep getting up. My dad used to always tell me, because he was one of my baseball coaches, and I'll strike out and I'll be upset. He would always just say, "You will get another bat. You will bat again. So you struck out this time. Don't harp on it. You're gonna get another chance to hit again." And that just stuck with me because he used to always say it. He used to say it before the game, like, if you strike out, remember you're gonna get another bat. And so, you know, that's something I just carry with me, you know, my entire life.
Wow. Well, are you guys familiar with the 5 love languages?
Couple of them.
Okay, I'm gonna give them to you. So I went to church one time and a pastor made mention of the 5 love languages probably about 15 years ago. And I have pretty much paved my life and my relationships around these, because when I sat and thought about it, a lot of times we give based on what we think the individual. Wait, let me say that. We give based on what we think an individual wants, right? Not often we say, hey, what is it that you want? Or what is it that you like? You know what I'm saying? We really don't have those type of conversations, right? And so the 5 love languages, the first one being words of affirmation. I like you, you pretty, you this, you know, speaking life into a person, right? The second one is acts of services, doing stuff for it. Let me take the garbage out. Let me get your book, whatever it may be, act of services. The third one is receiving gifts, which is what majority of the women love, receiving gifts. So you guys don't forget that. The fourth one is quality time, self-explanatory. And the fifth one is physical touch, right? So case in point, my love language could be quality time, and you can be given acts of service. And so I'm not real receptacle of what you're doing, because that's really not I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate it. But man, if you do my love language, I'm all in, right? And so that's how I pretty much now I put that into my relationships. So, which one you guys want to go first? Paper, rock, scissors.
So I'll say I am
You can have you can have
husband.
more than one too. Just FYI.
Yeah, I think out of them 5, I think 2 of them is me. I'm a physical, touchy person, as well as time.
Okay.
I like to spend time with my mate, whoever I'm with, things like that. So those 2, I'm not big on receiving gifts. What was the other one you said?
Acts of service, words of affirmation, somebody speaking life into you.
I like that sometimes, but the main 2 is the ones I just said.
And he said
Physical
physical
touch
touch.
and words.
Quality,
Spending time together.
Okay. I'm gonna see what Matt gonna say, and then I got something to say. Matt, what you got?
I don't know if my wife would agree with this, but I think man is words of affirmation, right?
Really?
And I realize hers is act of service, right? But that's something we had to learn, right? Because like it goes back to what you said, and so learning that I never heard of the love vibe, love language before I got into this marriage, so I didn't know what that was, right? And so yeah, for me it's words of affirmation that would do something for me. I like when somebody kind of like, you can do it.
Really?
They give me that pep talk. I'm like, all right, cool.
Wow. So, what do you guys think has happened with I don't want to say I can just say with the industry, because at one point young men and young boys had somebody to look up to. You see somebody on TV like, oh, I like to, I like their life or whatever. And so now I used to ask the young girls a couple years ago, who do they see to be a role model? Let me say that. And so at the time, it was Beyonce, right? And so now I revisit this conversation 3 years later, and they told me Sexy Red.
Oh my God.
And so, and so with the boys, it's I asked the boys, and they all say, what's that rapper name? All My Life. All My Life.
Oh, Lil Durk.
Lil Durk. They say Lil Durk and another one of those rappers. And I'm like, man, but guess what? That goes back to what I just said earlier. It's hard for a kid to dream what they can't see. So this is everywhere. And then I asked one of the boys, like, why you like Lil Durk? And he said that song he said, because in his song, he said he trying to change his life.
I just think with the youth, they go with who hot at the time. With the guys, it's just today's generation of guys. Oh, I could say both. They want that fast. They want that money now. They want to work today and get paid tonight. And so they see all these rappers and all these artists with the money, the chains, the cars, and that's what they want. And they want to get it, like I say, today and not work for it.
Wow.
They feel like they what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word. They think they owe something. And they not. They don't like to work for nothing these days no more.
Wow.
Yeah, I think, and it goes back to what you said, Cynthia. It's out there, I mean, it's what they seeing.
Mm-hmm.
I do think now the way social media is, it has made everybody somebody that you probably thought was just this perfect person. It does humanize them a little bit, because now you're seeing so much of them, and everybody's recording everything. Everybody's a little more sensitive nowadays than what used to be. But yeah, I just think it's the exposure of the media. The media still controls, what we are feeding into our everyday system, right? Yeah, so when it's Lil Durk, that's who they hear on the radio no more, right? All the time, right? They'll play the little, even though that's a positive song, they will play some of his other music before they play, maybe a Nas record, right? Something more positive. And unfortunately, that's go back to systemic racism, in my opinion, is that they push this out here So that's all we can see, and that's their ceiling, right? My ceiling is to be like Lil Durk, when it shouldn't be like that. But they only going off what they see to, what they're exposed to.
Correct. So as parents, what is it you think parents can do to change the narrative of what the kids are being dumped with?
Well, to go on and I've raised in church. You don't know who God is, and right now I'm not trying to be holy, but we got to remember what was the devil's job in heaven, angel of music. So he makes this music real appealing to this generation, and they go and they run with it. What can parents do? You can't stop them from listening to it. You can't stop them from watching it, because, like you say, social media is so impactful. Man, all I can say is pray for them, or like you say, show them something. Go show them something different outside of, like you say, the four walls of that box that they know. Show them something different.
Wow, Matt, what you think?
I think what he just said, that and pay attention, like really pay attention to your children. Pay attention to patterns and behaviors, man. I'll give an example of my daughter, who's 6 years old, right? And so she was at a school last year in first grade. She's in first grade now, but she was going to another school last year. And what me and my wife noticed is that she was lashing out a little more. She was frustrated. You know what I mean? She had like anxiety problems with doing the work. And she wasn't as advanced as everybody else in her class. And it really bothered her. You know what I mean? And we paid attention to that. So our best thing was to do was take her out that school, put her in an environment where she feels a little more comfortable. And when I tell you it did a 360 for her, you know what I mean? Like everything has changed as far as how she's learning, how she's reacting to things. So it made me just remember that, like, pay attention to your kids. I think a lot of times, parents are allowing, kids lie. We all lie, right? You saying they going over your friend's house and they really not going over their friend's house, right?
And they downtown, right?
Pay attention to that. Well, instead of letting them just go over there willy-nilly, you say, hey, let me meet these parents, the parents of this person's house you're going to. You know what I mean? Where you going? Let me walk you over there. Try to be more involved. I think, a lot of parents just be happy that their kids at the house so they can have a little time to themselves.
Well said, sir. And that's the type of parent I am. And nowadays, in at one point in life, you had to worry about the girls being bothered. Now it's the boys. I mean, we see what's happening right in front of our eyes. And so, like you said, so many parents so quick to drop the kids off, whether it be basketball practice, football practice, or what have you. And so now you got coaches or whomever saying that, oh, you're not in, your parents not involved. So now some people start the grooming, and now, like you may mention, the signs are there. You kids start acting out, and it's not and it's not always of what's happening in the home. It could be the environment. So now, instead of you thinking that your daughter was just being rebellious or whatever you could have thought, you as a parent took the initiative to look into the situation and see it was the environment she was in. And so that makes a difference, right? I talk to so many kids, and some of these, oh my God, some of the environments that these kids living in, some of these kids are being molested by their father, by their uncle, and they acting out. And so one of the police told me, this one girl, she would come with all these clothes on, whether it be 90 degrees, 80 degrees, right? And, I'm like, take your coat off, you know what I'm saying? But the whole time she was being molested by her mother's boyfriend. And so she would put all these clothes on to pretty much cover up or you know what I'm saying? And so it bothered me. Of course, it was reported or whatever. But like you said, you have to pay attention to what's going on with these kids. You know what I'm saying? Most of it start at home. You know what I'm saying? Kids act out for a reason. Kids just don't say, let me just act bad. You know, right? For instance, a little bitty baby, when they cry, when they wet, or when they need to be fed, right? And so, yeah, it's pretty weird out here. So I appreciate you saying that, because you have to stay in tune. You have to check in. You have to I want to meet everybody my son encountered. He went to a new school. I went up there and met everybody from the principal to the janitor. And so I'm there all the time. So now, they're like, oh, okay, yeah, his mom, she's active, she's visual. So whatever anybody could have been thinking, you got to change your mind, because I'm questioning, hey, what's going on? How you doing? Nice to meet you. So on and so forth. So yeah, it's you have to pay attention to these kids. You really do. You really do.
Exactly.
Antoine, you want to say something about that?
So I coached basketball for 6 years at Perspective High School, and everything you just said, like we have so we had 3 teams. We had your freshman team, and then you had your frost off, and then you had your varsity. Well, with me and the coach, the guy that hired me, he was the head coach, I was assistant, and then I was over the varsity, sophomores. We would have a meeting like on a Saturday to where we got all 3 teams, our managers, and whatnot have you, and we would have maybe 10 parents show up. 10 parents show up, and I'm not even exaggerating, 9 of them was mothers. So where the men at?
Yeah.
Where was the men at? Where's the fathers at?
You're right.
But it just tells you, they not some of them don't care about what their kids.
And them be the ones that Facebook bashing women.
Yeah. And they don't care about their whereabouts. So I found that interesting the 5-6 years that I coached and worked at a high school, that the parents didn't care. It was some kids. It was some of my players. I didn't meet the parents until they graduated 4 years later.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Until after they graduated. So you mean let me just dump my kid on this man? Never seen him, know who he is. My son say he a nice coach. Okay, go ahead, son.
And for them 4 years, oh my God, when I say I spent so much money, my own money on them kids, but I loved it. That was my job, and I loved it. But like you said, them parents, he got them basically. Them kids, any of my basketball players had to be at school at 7:45, and they were probably going to get home to 9 o'clock. So they probably 9 o'clock at night. So they probably loved it.
Yeah, of course, because they can do them. You know what I'm saying? I'm assuming they okay. You know what I'm saying? Hey, the coach ain't calling saying nothing different. He coming home, going to sleep. I guess it's okay. Okay, tomorrow.
All the parents, I wish I get them some receipts. They owe me money.
I used to have a parent, 3 Hispanic kids, all under 10. It was like 3 of them. They was in our program. Program over with at 6. Never pick these kids up on time. We calling, hey, program over 6:30. Hey, the program over at 7 o'clock. I'm like, you know what? Listen, I can't do that because I have other obligations. You know what I'm saying? And so the park district closed at 6. They like, what y'all gonna do? Like, and it's always something. Oh, I had to. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, y'all need to figure that out for real, because that's an inconvenience to everybody. You know what I'm saying? That ain't cool. So, all right, this is my last question to y'all. In regards to community, right? What is it that you guys want to see different in your community?
I'll start. In the Black community, back when I was growing up, I knew everybody in the neighborhood, everybody's house or family. We knew everybody. Just want our neighborhoods, to be a little bit tighter like that. Older guys, as myself, everybody will say, it ain't your business to say something to another young Black man if we see them doing or saying something wrong, or correct them. Like, I don't care where I'm at. If I see, it's a pet peeve of mine seeing these guys sagging their pants. Don't nobody want to see your dirty drawers.
Thank you.
Pull your pants up. I just want to see like the guys, my generation, a little older, just take a little bit more assertive with these guys. I'll give an example and I'll be quiet. I'm always, when it came to kids, I'm like a rah-rah. I'm a tough guy, like real aggressive with them. But I've learned over the years of time, still be that way, but show them a little bit of more love. Because this generation, like you see, when you guys said earlier, they're a little softer. Now, you can't say nothing to them. without them getting mad or being upset. So I've learned to have a balance with it. Like I said, I used to be always rah, rah, rah. And you got to figure they mindset not like mine was. I've gotten coming up rah, 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 but I was able to handle it. But these kids, you gotta rah, 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 but still give them a hug. So that's what I like to see. More men stepping up.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I think what I would like to see in my community, man, is like a list of things. But thinking about how, and I'll just speak of North Lawndale, for example, the vacant lots and, the really not many stores in that area. And one thing about our communities, honestly, they're throwing money in our community. So it's a lot of money coming to Inglewood, to Pullman, to North Lawndale, to Garfield, to Austin. They're throwing money in there, and I think it's getting in the wrong people's hands, right? And people are misusing these funds and not doing what they said they was going to do. One thing about Chicago, we have a lot of programs. We have nonprofits for everything, right?
Absolutely.
And we have a bunch of programs, right? But we still seeing the same stuff over and over, right? Yeah. So I would love to see, kind of like one system where all these programs work under and be held more accountable for what's going on in our community. Because honestly, that's the gatekeepers in our community right there, are these non-for-profits, just being honest. And we have to have more activities for kids. I see a lot of stuff getting put up but it's not enough. It needs to be more activities and more jobs where people in our community can work, right? We should be tired of, being honest with you, other races coming out in our communities and open up corner stores, open up nail salons, opening up all these liquor stores, right?
Right.
We need to that's what we need in our community. We need to be our people working in our community so we can keep control of the black dollar.
Well said. I appreciate you guys. That was the last question. So this is the last thing. From this interview from beginning to end, Antoine, one word to describe this interview from beginning to end.
Informative.
Matt?
One word. I'm gonna just say great. It was great.
All right. So I asked everybody that. So at some point, all the one words, I'm gonna make a sentence. I got that from a program that I went. I forgot the name of it. Where at the end, everybody had to say one word, and then the person made a nice little paragraph about it. So with that being said, guys, this concludes our interview. I thank you guys so much for taking time again out your busy day to come on and talk with me. Everything you guys said was, like you said, was great and informative. And so I appreciate that. I wish you guys well on your endeavors. Be safe out there. Yeah, that's it.
I just want to say I appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing, man. You're doing some beautiful, great things. I'm actually going to inbox you some resources.
Thank you.
For, just that I have for your youth program. And keep doing it. This is great. This is new. This is fresh. This is going to continue to get bigger for you, man. And Beach, you already know, man, my guy right there. See you at the next event.
Yeah.
I appreciate
like you said, it's a great thing you're doing. Keep it up. I'm willing to work with, if you got you guys, I'm willing to work. So just send me info and I can let you know when I can help.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys again. Be safe and I'll see you guys next time.
All right.
All right.
Go to your Apple or Google Play Store and download the WVTC Gospel Radio app today. You can also say, Alexa, play WVTC Radio Skills.
Would you like to play WVTC Radio Network?
Absolutely. Download it today.
Views made on the preceding program are not those of WVTC Radio, iNetworks Communications, or their financial supporters.
Winning victory through Christ. WVTC Allsip Chicago. an iNetworks communication station.